You've got like some of your hardcore people still, that are into punk and stuff, and they like grindcore a lot. Then you have your people that are into the heavier thrash stuff that, like grindcore too. So it's kind of like a crossover type thing. But I think generally a lot of people that would listen to like Metallica and stuff aren't into grindcore yet here. But over in Europe, like, your whole crowd will be always just into grindcore. They're all like death metal crowds and stuff over there. A lot of bands have been using keyboards in the studio and like live tapes and stuff like that for a really long time. As far as I can remember back, Merciful Fate, bands like that, they use keyboards. And to me, it just, we're like, I guess, the only band that actually has a keyboard player like all the time.
I've had people come up to me like in Europe and go, man, I'm so pissed off because I wanted to put keyboards in the band that we were doing a year ago. And I said, no, it's not the thing. And then here comes your album. And it's like, and it's there and it's accepted, and they're kicking themselves in the ass for not having done it before, It's really the only thing that's limited is movement, as far as being able to move around, a whole lot. But since I'm pretty much locked behind there anyway, I'm limited to just thrashing where I'm at, so it doesn't matter if I'm on 3 feet or, a huge stage.
I used to play Morbid Angel, and that was like back in 84 to 86, Well, I think basically the Tampa and Florida whole scene is what happened. It started a long time ago, like the early 80s with bands like Nasty Savage and Death and Morbid Angel and Savatage. And what's happened is like the people have been into that kind of music for quite a long time, and they're just like used to it, and it breeds a lot of really good musicians there that want to do that kind of music.
Whenever anybody tells me they're thinking about moving their band down to Florida, I say, hey, it couldn't hurt. Nocturnus is trying to get into the fantasy fiction with the evil, but also in various locations, and any kind of bizarre locations we can like come up with and create a sonic image of that,
Our songs are more like short stories, and they're all kept at a very fictional level, to where it's like, somebody can't actually go out and, build a time machine in their backyard and go back in time, it's like, when you have some bands that are talking about sacrificing people or whatever, it's like, people can actually go out and do that stuff, and that's where, it gets, there's the line that you draw between, real life and fantasy.
What we're really telling people is just, go out and use your own strengths and make your own way in this world, basically. And that's like the real thrust of it. I mean, we do take a pretty brutal swing at Christ and his followers in a way, but really it's just like, it's just like taking a swipe at them to try to, you know, bite them down a notch to show that that's really not, you know, an all-inclusive thing that people just need to like blindly follow. Anything, any religion, Satanism, Christianity, anything like that.
There's only so fast you can play, and there's only so heavy you can be without it all sounding the same, or without it just being a blur. So, you know, maybe we've opened up a whole new branch of direction of way to go with the music, you know, where these people would never listen to something with keyboards before. Now they're listening to that and they're going, well, yeah, that's pretty good, it's working, you know, and they're opening their mind up and expanding this music so it doesn't get closed in into one, you know, genre or whatever, you know. It's just like, as long as it keeps expanding and bands keep experimenting and doing different things, it's not going to die out.
It seems to go to and fro across the Atlantic. There's